As the Supreme Ghost Emperor, I got tired of the killing, so I went incognito and moved into some random haunted apartment complex. But the matchmaking system went ahead and paired me with a human wife. See, in the human world, every so often there's this thing called a ghost matchmaking event. Players have to build a relationship with their ghost partner in everyday life. Each time you raise their affection level, you get a reward. And once you hit 100, you can marry them and unlock their special dungeon. There I am, sitting on the couch, a system panel popped up right in front of me. I read it, smirked, and with one single thought, a surge of immense power, locked onto the ghost matchmaking system and yanked it straight out of the void. I messed with it a bit and realized it had zero emotions, just a preset program. Marriage, huh? I grinned and gave that little orb a once-over, then pulled up my own profile in the matchmaking system. Saw my title, frowned. My profile pic? Me sitting on a throne built on a mountain of endless skulls and bones. That'd scare anyone off. So I used my power to quietly fix my info, grabbed the orb like a camera, and took a half-body selfie. Gotta keep some mystery, right? Then I started scrolling through profiles of female players from 10 different countries, but when I hit one particular profile, I stopped cold. A flicker of surprise in my eyes. It was her, Yoon Genue. Meanwhile, in a dingy little rental in Jiangcheng, Yoon Genue rubbed her eyes and stared at the system panel that just appeared out of nowhere. She thought she'd been studying so hard she was hallucinating. But once she read the whole thing, she realized she'd been selected for ghost matchmaking. This round involved 10 female players from 10 different countries. Before it kicked off, each player could pick one preferred match. If 2 players picked the same one, the system would randomly decide. Then the profiles of 10 male ghosts were laid out in front of Yoon Genue. Names already chosen were marked red, unchosen ones were white. But none of the ghosts had a full face photo, just side profiles or back shots. Total blind box situation. Yoon Genue was overwhelmed. She had no idea who to pick. She'd never paid attention to any of this stuff and had zero clue who any of these ghosts were. Until her eyes landed on the last one. Ghost match number 10, Bai Xiao. His photo was nothing like the others. The rest were either grotesque or straight up covered in blood and gore. But his was a clean half-body shot, part of his neck and jawline visible. Looked clean, fresh. Yoon Genue bit her lip. The more she looked, the more she felt drawn to him. Like she'd seen him somewhere before. But she'd never dated anyone her whole life. Besides her dad, she didn't have a single guy's contact. And all the other 9 ghosts were already taken. Bai Xiao was the only one nobody had picked. Yoon Genue didn't even hesitate. She chose Bai Xiao. All preferred matches have been selected. Ghost matchmaking begins in 3 minutes. Yoon Genue panicked. Barely any time left. First meeting with her match and she couldn't show up empty-handed. But there was no time to go shopping. So she raided her tiny kitchen and grabbed everything she could carry, stuffed 2 whole big bags full. She wiped the sweat off her forehead and thought, with all this stuff, her ghost husband probably wouldn't be too rough on her, right? Meanwhile, at the Dragon Kingdom's Ghost Matchmaking Research HQ. She's already in there, and this is the first you're hearing about our country's player? What the hell have you people been doing? Every other player came loaded with ghost coins and gifts. What did she bring? A bunch of appliances and milk. That kind of gift? She's getting torn apart. And that ghost called Bai Xiao. Does nobody know who that is? We've been putting out announcements every single day. If you're selected, report to your local research division immediately. If she doesn't come forward herself, there's no way we can track her down in 10 minutes. Wang Xuan stared helplessly at the research team. The massive multi-screen broadcast room was already live, and viewers from around the world were flooding in. A flash of white light, and suddenly, Yoon Genue was somewhere else entirely. 2 residential buildings loomed in front of her, wrapped in a thick red haze, like a ghost town straight out of a horror movie. She sucked in a sharp breath. Every hair on her arm stood up. The thought of actually moving into this place and sharing a room with a ghost made her heart race. She turned around. The other 9 players from all the other countries were already there. Yoon Genue walked toward them, but the second she got close, South Korea's player Han Sume wrinkled her nose. One look at those two giant bags in Yunjenyue's hands, and her face just screamed contempt. Chinese girl, this is what you brought for your match? Home appliances as a gift? How creative? You really have no clue, do you, Panda? How did the Dragon Kingdom end up picking someone like you? As the two of them laughed, the other players all glanced over and joined in with a few snickers. Yunjenyue had been about to ask some questions about ghost matchmaking. Now she couldn't get a word out. Even if she did ask, all she'd get was more laughing. Please locate your assigned match and move into their room within 10 minutes. Yunjenyue stared at the system prompt, then looked down at her two giant bags with a grimace. The other players had already headed into the haunted building. Han Sume had already made it to the 4th floor, oozing confidence. She was a social media model with over 1 million followers back in South Korea. Guys were worshipping her on the daily. On top of that, South Korea had prepared 100 ghost coins for her. She was fully confident she could win over this ghost called Midnight Butcher Park Dagon. Anyone home? Hansume gave a gentle knock, keeping that polished smile on. The door opened, and her expression froze. The ghost was hideous. The stench rolling off the butcher's body almost made her gag on the spot. Park Dagon noticed her mental breakdown immediately, and a chilling smirk crept across her face. She absolutely hated anyone who looked down on her appearance. Every single one of them ended up as ground meat. Han Sume caught the shift in Park Dagon's mood and scrambled to speak first. Honey, first time meeting, I brought you a gift. Hope you like it. Han Sume winced as she handed over a 50 ghost coin bill. Park Dagon's greedy eyes locked onto it, snatched it right up, then just stared at Han Sume and didn't budge. Her gaze shifted straight to Han Sume's pocket. Honey, can I come in now? Park Dagon coldly said, not enough. Han Sume went pale. She could not believe this ghost was this greedy. She'd already handed over 50 ghost coins, and now it wanted what was in her pocket too? Meanwhile, Yunjenyue had made her way to room 3007 on the 3rd floor. Her heart was pounding out of her chest. Just thinking about knocking and meeting her ghost husband on the other side made her whole body tense up. But then the door suddenly swung open. Yunjenyue got startled, slipped, and went straight down. Ow! She rubbed her sore butt, eyes welling up with tears. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yunjenyue mumbled back before her brain even caught up. Then a gentle hand gripped her arm and helped her to her feet. Thank you, she whispered, dying of embarrassment on the inside. She looked up. A man was standing in the doorway in simple, casual clothes. Damn, he's hot. And his face. Yunjenyue found it weirdly familiar, like she'd seen him somewhere before. It had been so long since I'd seen her. Hard not to feel something. See, Yunjenyue was my childhood friend from my past life. Back then, the orphanage was right near her house. We grew up together, went to school together, were really close, until I died in an accident. 2 whole worlds apart, and yet here she is again, right at my door. The first time we ever met, she'd snuck into the orphanage and knocked on my door. I glanced at the 2 big bags by the entrance, spotted some appliances, and even a whole box of Want milk, her absolute favorite. I was speechless. She really just packed up her entire life and brought it here. When she noticed me looking, Yunjenyue glanced at the bags too, instinctively shrank into herself and went bright red. This is a gift, honey. She barely managed to squeeze the words out. Come on in, I said softly, picked up both bags myself and turned back toward her. Yunjenyue watched me walk in, then followed. I settled onto the couch and watched her. She moved around like she owned the place, cooking, deep cleaning, totally at home. And all those things she brought actually came in handy. What are you keeping those cardboard boxes for? To sell, obviously. Dead serious. I just stared. I'm the Ghost Emperor. Do I look like I need to sell cardboard? This girl is something else. The other 7 players eventually all found their matches, but aside from me, every other ghost treated their partner like trash, just a tool to be used and tossed aside. Morning. Yunjenyue woke up, rubbed her eyes, and felt something warm next to her. She instinctively scooted closer, until her hand hit something hard. She snapped fully awake. Oh, right. She wasn't in her little rental anymore. I opened my eyes right then, watching her with an amused smile. That wandering hand of hers, sitting right on my abs. Good morning, honey. Yoon Jae-yue's cheeks went pink without her even realizing it. Want to go back to sleep? I asked casually. She slowly pushed herself up and mumbled, "Guess not." After getting changed, she walked out of the bedroom. She thought back to all the stuff she'd looked up about ghost matchmaking online. Honestly, it didn't seem nearly as dangerous as everyone made it out to be. After breakfast, Yoon Jae-yue washed the dishes and told me to go sit on the couch and game, still playing Stardew Valley from the night before. "Honey, can you not play that one right now?" she pleaded. "Wait for me to finish a quest and grab some groceries. We can duo queue tonight." I nodded and switched games. She had a ton of stuff on her Switch, so I just picked a single-player one and went at it. "Thanks, honey." "No worries." I couldn't help but laugh quietly. "Hey, you need help with that quest?" "It's not hard, just grocery shopping." She shook her head. "You got money?" I asked, eyes still on the screen. I'm good. Don't worry about it, honey." She waved me off. She figured her husband was probably broke and didn't want to spend his money. Besides, groceries aren't that expensive. She'd just pick up some work. I glanced back at her looking so sure of herself. Had to hold back a laugh. This wasn't the real world. The ghosts around here might look human, but they'd squeeze every last drop out of you if they could. Lucky for her, I happened to have a membership card to the shop downstairs. That crossed my mind, so I mentioned it. "A membership card?" Yoon Jae-yue blinked. Maybe it'll get her a discount. She could definitely use that. Following my directions, she found the card under the coffee table. It was literally being used to prop up one of the table legs. Yeah, there's definitely no money in this house. "Thank you, honey." Yoon Jae-yue pocketed the card and headed out with a big smile. I kept playing without looking up. With that card, the ghosts at the store shouldn't dare mess with her. Besides, the entire ghost world was under my watch anyway. I played a bit longer, got bored, and put the Switch down. I'd just wait for her to get back and play together.